I'll be here for
5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Had a lot of people in here too.
Yeah.
Fox, Tony K, Auto Salvage, Two Babe Jenkins, Tony.
Just love that.
Nolly,
Two Babe
Fox
Jenkins.
Fix It. They're all getting in here. Halfwit, who gets a free trip to England and the Europe. Like, I don't understand that shit. They must pay for all that stuff for you because you act like you ain't got no money for car parts.
Hey, but he said he'd give you a free tow if you broke down.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
If I break down so bad, be ready because I'll mail somebody the title. Here, give me whatever. I'm done. F this AMC piece of shit.
We will recreate our phone call and you can bleep it all out.
Yeah. Huh? No, I think the car will be fine. Even that rear end, I think will be fine. It sounded like that last year.
Right.
And I did find a company. I found a company that makes one size axles for that, the one-piece axles. And they come for the big car. They're ready for the big car, but they're grooved and splined for every size. So all you got to do is put it on measure out your axles and hack them off, clean them up. And that gets rid of that shit. Like right now, you have to take the hub assembly off that axle, which, by the way, takes lots of heat and one hell of a clamp. That's the reason I ain't changed them because nobody around here can do it.
There you go.
I'm afraid they're going to bend the damn thing.
Right.
Fox is just warning me. Eh?
Yeah. See, you got to have no sleeves.
Look at this. I got my one and only on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the reason it's mad at me because, cartoony, it probably don't like it.
You don't want to see this. Look how white that is, man.
I still got my tan from going to Oklahoma, sticking my arm out the window.
Yeah, mine's, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's from truck driving. But yeah, I'm fed up with parts. That's for goddamn sure. I've had it. Like, I can't even. It's one bad part after another. Another part that was bad right out of the box was a freaking PCV valve.
Really?
How do you get that wrong?
The inside of it was brand new. Put it in there, and I'm trying to figure out why it sounds like I got a vacuum leak.
Right.
And I used the old brake clean, starter fluid. I did everything. Couldn't find nothing. And all of a sudden I reached down, or actually it was my buddy Tony reached down and he grabbed that hose off that and pulled it off and put his finger over it and it steadied the idle. What the hell? So I pulled the thing out of the hole, stick it in there, and it gets high, stick my finger over it, and it gets normal idle. I put it in the crankcase. It kind of comes down, but then it sits there and does that sporadic idle. I was like, what in the hell? So I took it off, sucked on it, blew in it, and all that kind of stuff. It's bad, brand new, right out of the box. I mean, they're not. It's not as bad, like a GM when you suck on it. These don't do that. It's kind of like a give and take with the vacuum leak, and she was getting too much.
Right.
And but I got it. I ordered 2. And everything around here is special order, so I had to get it through Summit.
You almost have to order 2 of everything now. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly.
I've been doing that, and I hate to admit that. I've been ordering 2 of everything when I order something.
You got to.
And you shouldn't have to. But in this day and age, the parts are not necessarily cheap, but you can have them at your door within a few days, depending on the part, right? But
they're cheap, but they're not inexpensive.
There you go.
Well,
they're cheap made.
You got a problem is it's like the way the American cars were back in the day. It's the way parts are now. If Fonduc Tow has a bad day on Monday, you're getting a really bad part. And if Chain Sing has a bad day on Tuesday, maybe Juan is having a good day. And you get the one Juan made.
Yep.
Well,
you know what? Get the other 2.
You know what sums this all up? Go watch the old movie Gun Ho.
Oh,
Oh,
I love that. Michael
yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
Classic.
But when you get your last car on the line, and Emperor Hirohito comes out, you gotta wash that windshield, even though it's not there.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great movie.
You know what though? I was, I've tried. I have tried with that AMC old stock. You're gonna pay out the ass because that's the only place to get it. And a lot of this stuff you can't get anymore. People
Yeah.
don't even make the parts, and if they do, like you can't just go get a heater switch for an AMC Javelin. You can't go get a regular light switch for an AMC Javelin. It's all old used parts that somebody tries to redo, but because they're all that weird flippy flop crap that's inside the dash. And it's like yesterday, or was it yesterday? 2 days ago, trying to figure out why I can get the air working, but it's not blowing that much out the vents, but it's blowing out under the dash, not through your defrost. It's coming out the dash. And I thought, no, there ain't nothing in there. It just sits on, and it's just a one unit, Well, I dug my big ass underneath there and looked up, turned the fan on high, and I looked up, and the actual case, where your evaporator core is in there, it's split. It's got an inch gap all the way around it.
Oh, man.
So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get up there I'm going to roll out some duct tape. I'm going to rip it off, and I'm going to feed it through, and I'm going to wrap that sucker around it just so we got something.
Perfect.
Because that makes all the air conditioning come out the damn.
Yeah, can you get some of that, that foam that's in a cylinder, a cylindrical shape, and it's on a roll, and you just stuff that in there?
Yeah, I thought about that too. I actually thought about getting some
Flex seal.
Dude, let me tell you, I came close to saying the hell with it and getting some freaking spray foam. Well, like that light crack stuff that just gets just enough, but hell, you can't get up in there. The dash
Flex seal.
Look up
Flex
in there.
Seal
like
makes a piece of tape that's like 6 inches wide and unrolls, and it's like $30 for a tiny little chunk of it. But
yeah,
that might work.
I've got
duct
some,
tape's not bad either.
RV tape, some big roll of waterproof RV tape.
Well, I've got some aircraft cargo pit tape, which is like a fiberglass reinforced tape. That stuff would seal her up good if you get that in there.
I'm wondering if this ain't supposed to have, because of course I can't find shit for this airbox. You can't find nothing. Nothing is remade. That's the problem with having an AMC is nothing's made for it. They're just finally now starting to make the sheet metal. Okay. You can get stuff for the engine and the rear end and the transmission, which mine's Chrysler transmission. Yeah. But everything else, you're done. Front end parts. That's about it.
All right, guys, I got my warning, so I got to cut out, but I will catch up with you guys later.
All right, man.
See ya.
Yep. So yeah, I'm dealing with that air conditioning thing. Honestly, that's my last word. I whatever.
Yeah.
I made it last year. This year we'll be up in the mountains, so hopefully a higher elevation. It'll be a little cooler.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to bring jets with me.
Yeah, but the problem is you won't be able to get your defrost working to defrost the window when you need it.
Well, I can't anyway because the heater core is gone.
That's right.
I'm just going to rain X the hell out of it.
Trying to sound like the girl from the Zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're talking about a concert.
Which one are they talking about? Oh. I was just trying to back up and see. Twilight Sad. What the hell? The Cranberries.
So you're down to basically the rear diff and the fuel pump on that AMC then? Is that
ish? I wanted to do. I wanted to fix that big rust spot on the back, but it's just gonna have to. It's just have to go, just
Yeah.
like that. If I don't get that thing pretty well settled this weekend, which I've got another fuel pump, I'm just gonna stick this next precision one in. And like I said, I got 2 more on the way, but I ain't waiting for them to come in. I'm just going to take them with me, or take one with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty much. Well, I need to change the bearings in the front, because when I changed one in Memphis when I got there, it was a brand new bearing. It took a shit on me, and then we made it the whole power tour. After that, I didn't have to do another damn thing to that car until we got about, I think it was 8 or 10 miles out of Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the freaking driver's side bearing took a shit.
Oh no.
So we got to get up there. We got up, did the whole thing. I had a chance. I got offered to run my car around the track, and I didn't trust it. I didn't want to be the guy that put a 74 Javelin in the wall at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
So we got out of there, went to O'Reilly's, got the parts. I already had a seal. I bought a bunch of extra seals when I was in Memphis, and we went and I just changed out the bearings on those races, and the races had heat pits in them. It was a bad run of bearings, is what it was.
Yeah.
And but I went with Timkins this time. I got a whole box full of them. Fronts, or the inner, outer, 4 seals. I ain't taking no chances being that far from home. I mean, it sounds out of way. Well, that kind of ruins the fun. You can take out there and it breaks down. No. If it's going to break down, I'm going to have the shit to fix it with me.
Well, exactly. I mean, when we came down in the Mustang, like, we knew that was a 2,000 miles one way, 2,000 miles back. So that trunk was loaded with parts and tools, and the back seat had our luggage, because it's the same thing. We wanted to make sure that if something broke, we could at least have a chance of continuing on.
If I don't put a rear end in that car before we leave, I've got the bearings and all that shit for the axles. So if I get somewhere and I get to a machine shop and the sumbitch just ain't gonna hack it no more, I can stop and say, look, I'll pull these bastards out. You change them. You know, whatever I have to do. But around here, I've called everywhere. Oh, you don't know how to get that off there. You're better off buying one-piece axles. Well, no shit. But I can't afford $850 worth of axles. But now I found that company that I found, they got them. It's $280 plus about $70 shipping. But you have to cut them to fit.
Yeah.
And that's an absolute last resort. It's a company out of Minnesota.
Right.
What the hell's the name now? I can't remember the name of the company.
And what are you supposed to cut them with? That's
chop saw.
Just a abrasion chop saw.
Chop saw.
Yeah.
And then just take a file, and
that doesn't take the temper of the axle when you do that.
I mean, I wouldn't do it if you're going to be putting 450, 500 horse against this thing.
Yeah.
You know, then you go with the Mosers.
Yep.
But, I mean, all of them are measured to fit, so no matter what I do, I ain't got enough time to change them anyway right now.
Yeah.
But I can go get a rear end and just swap all my brake parts over. You know, because I'll own that car that it's coming out of. I'll just take the freaking torch with me, and I'll torch the bitch out of there and be done with it.
Yeah.
Torch all the hanger bolts and stuff, and just pull it out the back of it, jack it up and pull it out the back of it.
Well, what do you got left? Like 2 weeks?
I have a week from Saturday.
A week from Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. As I said, I'm just going to check it, make sure the fluid's full, and just go.
And how many miles is this going to be by the time you're done?
By the time I'm done with the extra shit we're doing, probably about 2,200.
Oh, that's a good trip, no doubt.
I mean, these cars were designed to go thousands of miles. It's just, that's back when you could stop at a filling station and get it fixed.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
now you can't do that no more. Even O'Reilly's and AutoZone and all these, they got nothing in stock for an AMC.
Right. Yep.
I mean, unless you find the one that's got the big warehouse behind it. That's why I got lucky in Memphis. I got real lucky in Memphis. And not so lucky. Because that town sucks. That's like everybody. I was talking with Austin, because he's going too. He's putting a brand new motor in that AMX before he leaves.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. He's just going to be closer on the break-in. He's just going to stick her in and go, you know. And he told me he's been to Richmond here recently a lot, and he's like, no, you get in there and you get the hell out. Or not Richmond, Rockingham.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I'm actually staying in a ritzy hoity-toity part. So it's like an Airbnb style.
Yeah.
Because that's all I could find. And I know that it's close enough that I could leave Rockingham and probably get to the next place. I could have just stayed 2 nights in like Concord or whatever. But that defeats the purpose of we got Hot Wheels to give out. We got O'Reilly stuff to give out. We got all this stuff. So if we just go take off Concord, you miss the whole drive with all the cars, you know, everybody out watching. And so we're just going to do it. Where I'm staying at wasn't very cheap, but it's what was available, and it looks like a nice damn place. So
I guess my question is, if they know they have all these problems going through these places, why do they keep going through them?
This is actually short because last year everybody was bitching about how long the drives were. It's like, what do you mean how long? That wasn't that long. Of course, I'm a truck driver, so I'm like, that 200 miles? No, that's nothing. 250 miles. And that's what everybody's bitching. Well, now people are bitching because they picked a bunch of towns that don't have a lot of hotels. Well, you know, Memphis has a bunch, or not Memphis, but Atlanta has a bunch, but it's Atlanta. And then you get up, where do we go from there? South Carolina. Yeah, I go South Carolina, and then where are we at in South Carolina? I can't remember. But it goes to, I don't know. Crap. Halfwits. Where are we going in South Carolina? I can't name it. Columbia. That's it. No, it ain't Columbia. Is it Columbia? Yeah, we're going to South Carolina. It's God dang.
What? I think it's Columbia.
I think it is Columbia. It's the racetrack over there. Pretty sure it is. And where you at? Here we go. Nope, that's my band schedule. That ain't no good. You guys don't want to see that crap. Here we go. Well, no, that ain't right. Nope. I'll find it. I promise. Well, god dang. I just saw it, and now I lost it in my phone. God dang, son of a bitch. It's the fairgrounds. And where is it? Is it? Nope. Well, I don't know what I did with it.
Well, that's okay. Figure it out for the next show.
Yeah.
So the next show will be the last show before you go on tour then.
Yeah, I may do something small when I get out there. I will say that I'll have a video. Here we go. Atlanta, South Carolina State Fairgrounds, Columbia, South Carolina. That's where we're going. Yeah, it's Atlanta, Columbia, Rockingham, ZMAX and Concord, and Bristol Motor Speedway.
Nice.
Yeah, to babe, you just come look for me. I'll be around. I'm not sure where I'll be around, but I'll be around. It's that day is will be Columbia Day 2, June 13th, Tuesday.
So have you
Yep,
been working on
fairgrounds.
any other projects, or you just been focused kind of on the Mustang and the Javi?
Well, I worked on the Malibu. It had the same old crap with the Holly needle and seat front one. Always. Every year I got to change this thing. And it ain't necessarily Holly's fault. It's the fuel.
The fuel, yeah.
The fuel, the ethanol and the fuel. We don't have, I think there's only 2 spots around here that have non-ethanol fuel, and it's 87. So we just use 93. And I did a video of that, and I'd given it a bath. And, I'd actually do a video on how to change the needle and seat without. I actually show how to do it instead of me just cussing and throwing shit.
Yeah, nice.
I do get a little angry, but I did that, and it's just a I got these maintenance videos where I'm doing, and I get people that are bitching, believe it or not, that show the maintenance on these different vehicles. I'm like, well, look, I only have the weekends. I got lucky tonight to get home. I only have the weekends, and I got more than just the vehicle everybody wants to see that needs work done. And, like this Javelin, I ain't put a video out on it since I got the cam broke in. But I got tons of footage, like tons. And I'll put that out after Power Tour.
Yeah.
And because that's the whole reason for this build is to take it on Power Tour. I'll probably show a little bit of Power Tour. Not a lot, though, because I'm not going to video my life away on vacation.
No, there's, what, and I don't think those videos do that well.
They don't. I still got a bunch I found. I found it now from last year. And the more I look at it, it's just me freaking driving around.
Yeah.
What the hell good is that? But in that video, I give I fix the Malibu, give it a check over and stuff, and me and Zeppy move Bonnie.
Okay.
We actually start her up and move it around and put it in a place that's closer to the garage so I can work on it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the other one. And I don't know how it's going to go over, but I was going to work on the Chevy truck, but I decided that I'm going to build that motor for that Chevy truck. That's going to be my engine build over the winter.
Okay. Yep.
And I don't know if you saw my short of the Jeep.
Well, I haven't seen that one yet. No.
Yeah. I went to fix I was just going to put some plate steel in it and just, self tappers, maybe weld a little bit. I was just going to get it and then put the seat back in it. That way it was safe until like next year, this winter, I could do some swapping. Now body's gone. It's done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a hole about this long and about that wide.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing left of the tub. So we've got that black Wrangler, and we're going to take everything out of her red 86, the 304, the automatic, all that shit, and we're going to take it and throw it in that black 96 Wrangler.
Is she going to be okay with that?
Yep, she's all for it. She wants her Jeep back.
Okay.
That's her Jeep anyway, that black one. I gave it to her. I've given her 2 Jeeps. This one.
I wasn't sure if the red one had a sentimental attachment for her or something like that, or she just likes driving the Jeep. So
she just wants her Jeep back.
Okay.
And it's sentimental because she always said she always wanted one. She'd never get one. And then I got her one and I gave it to her for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And it was already rusting, because once one of those gets rust, you're done. You're not stopping it. It's just going to keep going and going and going. You might be able to, put a Band-Aid on it, but the bleeding will come back.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Rich. But yeah, we're going to do, when I get back, that's going to be one of my main things. And then I got a carport I got to put up. So now I got someplace to work if it's raining or in the winter.
Nice. Very nice.
Plus we can put her Jeep, her Trailhawk in there in the wintertime because We used to have hers like a little canopy thing for that, but yeah, we're gonna swap that. And then the thing is I've got another Jeep in the back,
Yeah.
and it's a 6-cylinder Laredo. The motor in this Wrangler is good, so we're just gonna pull that out of there. I'll put new gaskets and stuff on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw it in that other Jeep.
Nice.
That may be a flipper. I may sell that one.
Yeah.
So I
So
can get it on the road, get the title work done, get everything done, and it'll be a flipper. And somebody will have a good rust-free Jeep. I mean, it's got a little bit of rust, but I don't have any reason to have it.
yeah. And what are you going to do with the red one? Is it just getting?
It's
crushed
garbage.
out? It's garbage.
Yeah, it's trashed. Matter of fact, I could probably do the VIN swap, on that black one I got back there. But the Wrangler, that 96 Wrangler, they hold the road better than those old CJs do anyway. They got a better suspension, like your plus that one's got extra heavy duty ones on it, your hangers and your springs and all that stuff. It's just, and it's got the Dana's in it. So I don't even have to put a lift kit in it. It's tall enough.
Yeah. So you're just going to pull the parts off the red one and then crush the rest of it type thing. Yeah.
Yep. Find a different dash for it. The dash stuff's kind of messed up in the wiring, but I'm going to take out all that garbage that they started putting them in the 90s, and I'm just going to make it all, just get a cheap wiring harness and just make it right instead of all that emissions crap that's laying all underneath there. And be a pretty easy job. Zeppy's out here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. We're going to do that and then get that fender off that Buick. Really, that's all. That's it. That Buick, all I got to do is straighten out the fender and the hood.
Nice.
That thing's on the road. Maybe sand it down a little bit, put some patina something on it, but
Well, that'll be cool getting that thing back on the road. That'll be right on. I was surprised with how quick we got that 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT back running and driving.
Yeah,
because it got smoked in the side and it snapped the front knuckle. It caved in the driver's door or the fender or the passenger door, and they snapped the rear knuckle. I don't know what the hell happened to that thing, but the rims are fine. So it's so weird, man. Like, but I did get it together. I did get it running. I did get it driving, and my son and I took it out on the road just to, it's driving smooth. It's nice. This isn't bad at all. And then I said, okay, let's just see what it does. So I dropped it down into track mode, came to a complete stop, and I didn't do the launch or anything. I just nailed the gas, and holy crap. I was like, whoa, these 6.4s go good. Like it squatted and it launched, and there was no tire squeal, nothing. It just took off like a rocket. And that 1-2 shift, it just pounds you back in the seat again. And I was doing 140K, which is about, I don't know, 100 miles is 120 miles an hour. No, not that fast.
I get passed by those all the time out by Chicago. Every time. Whoa! Fly past me, and there's traffic.
Well, it's unreal. I was just not really prepared for it because I thought, it's still a heavy SUV. It's not gonna haul that good. But no, it launched and it took off.
So I just now, as we're talking, got the itinerary for Hot Rod Power Tour. Just got emailed to me.
Oh wow, okay.
And it's the South Carolina leg. If I can read this, I wish they would put it to where, somebody could read it. Here we go. So Monday is blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's actually the 75th year of Hot Rod.
Oh, is it? Oh, cool.
There's autocross. That's all Atlanta. Drag racing open to all registered participants.
Really?
Yeah, I won't be doing that. That'll be main stage. There is Tuesday, June 13th, South Carolina State Fairgrounds, Columbia, South Carolina. Show hours and tour arrival is 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Event credentials, Hot Rod Power Tour, merchandise stores, sponsor events. Everything opens at basically noon. Muletown Dyno Experience, open to all registered participants. Sponsor VP, credential pickup, show close, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Wednesday, June 14th, Rockingham Speedway. Vintage stock car theme day.
Interesting.
So you're supposed to wear all your old vintage NASCAR or stock car crap.
Yeah.
You know, that's the idea. I wish I had a number. I'd put the number of that famous Javelin on the side of the damn car. That'd be kind of neat. Hot Rod Power Tour sponsor event, live musical entertainment, Muletown Diner, Autocross, Rolling Thunder Racing Team, start your engines moment. Credential pickup sponsors, and then ZMAX Dragway. Sponsor, blah, 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 blah. Same old crap, same old crap, same old crap. And at Bristol, by the way, they're not letting us go on the track.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I imagine they're letting everybody come inside. Because I think we for sure fit all the cars can fit inside.
Yeah.
You'd think they could anyway. I may be wrong. I don't really care. I do know that we're gonna spend a little bit of time at each place, but Amber's already making up. She's looking at the driving and what's nearby and what we can go see while we're out there. Like, there's a lot of stuff through there that we don't get to see. I'm sure like Colleen and everybody, they're used to seeing that stuff. We're not. I'm in the flatlands of freaking mid-America here. We don't really have anything to see unless we go up by Iowa at Quad Cities or we go down south, and down south, nothing but meth anymore.
Well, yeah, I remember going from the drive from Big Block's house to Sykeston there, and I was like, wow, that was a pretty open, flat drive.
Yeah. Yeah. You get to Southern Illinois if you're coming from where I'm at, and you go down 57 and you follow that to where basically 57 ends. Right before you get out of Illinois, man, it's, but other than that, it's like sea level moves an inch, from here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But this one, we're last year we spent a lot of time because I was trying to take it all in. Here I was hanging out with all these big YouTubers, huge.
Yep.
But I don't have one picture of me with any of them. That's where I had already been talking to Austin, but that's where I, met him and started talking to him a lot. Now we talk about it every day. That's where I met Kevin Brown, Luke from Thunderhead. I talk to these guys almost every other day now.
Yeah.
And I didn't take one damn picture. And one of my favorite channels I run into, Flying Sparks, I was with Emily and Aaron every single day. As a matter of fact, they were in the same hotel as me a couple different times.
Yeah.
I was taking it all in, and I wanted to see it all. And boy, Amber and the kids got bored. And I understand.
Yeah.
But it's like this time I'm just going to go. I'm going to enjoy the drive, go in and see the stuff, because literally it's the same stuff at every single stop damn near. You might find somebody out of the, blue, like, oh, what do you do? Well, we just vendored for this place.
Yeah.
And there's cars that you can't see all the cars.
No.
You can't. There is almost no way. You have to be, like driving around constantly.
Well, not to mention, like, they're not sitting either, right? They're sitting for part of the day and then they start moving again. So
yeah,
and they're in a different place every day. So good luck trying to find them all. But you brought up a good point, and I'd like to bring this up to everyone in the chat. If you get a chance to go out to some of these events, do it. you'll find that a lot of the YouTubers are very personable.
Oh,
Some
they're
aren't,
extremely personable.
but most are very personable, and they're good people to talk to and meet, and just fun to hang out with. And it's like that at most of these events. I mean, that's how I met you, Jay, is at the No Name Nationals too, right? Is
Yeah.
you just get out and meet some people, and you find out they're just the same as you, same interests, everything else. And
I can tell you the one thing that I could see that some of the big popular ones, let's say like Derek. Derek is very personable if it's just a random conversation. But if you go up, jump in his face, you got to remember this guy's been dealing with this. He was an overnight. I mean, he had a decent YouTube, but all of a sudden COVID hit and he's overnight sensation.
yeah,
And I think it hit him. I don't know him personally. I don't talk to him personally. But I mean, I email with him to get advice, just like I do with Pole Barn, just like I do, with Dalton and Kevin and everybody. I try to get advice on stuff, and every one of them gives me a different. They give me a different thing every time. And I ain't even got 5,000 subscribers yet. But okay, so what if I get up there to 60,000? Say that happens. What should I expect?
yeah,
And it's like, maybe I'll never get there. Maybe I will. Honestly, I don't care either way. Well, I was having fun. And now it's, but this Javelin thing has nothing to do with YouTube. This is me and my family going on a driving vacation.
Yes.
But, if you're going, like these guys here that are in Carolinas that are going to come up, I hope you come up and we run into each other. It'd be great. But if you do, and Derek and them are going to be there, they'll all be there. If you do it, just go up. Hey, how's the truck running? Don't just. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, be respectful. Don't get into their face. But they're just people, man. If they're busy, they're busy. Leave them alone. If they got a chance to talk, they'll talk.
Yeah, and that's ask them about how's the tour going. How's this going? How's the car going? Because he had people. I was walking up. Who was I walking up to? I think I was walking up to Luke. And I'd been talking to him the whole time since Atlanta. That's where I started talking to these guys. And we went through the whole trip, and I was talking to him off and on, every day. Hell, I sat down with Luke's dad, Stan, for 2 hours and just shot the shit. And that was the thing, is he was kind of overwhelmed. He was just kind of sitting back at this little tent because he was hot as hell, Yeah. And I just kind of sat there with him because I was hot as hell. And next thing you know, here comes freaking Newburn and a couple of others that come walk up there right. God damn, it's hot. I said, yeah. I said, that's why we're sitting here. So then it was me and Newburn, Cotton, Stan. We're all sitting there at the tent. Hey, how's it going? That's when me and Cotton just, hey, wait a minute. You're from where? And he goes, here. And I said, Jesus, man, you're only about 60 minutes, 45 minutes from me. And then we just got talking, and I talk to him regularly. And I don't talk to Cotton that much. He's pretty busy, but.
Yeah. But, like some of these guys, like look at talking about Cotton here. Look at what he did with Buff the other day.
Yeah.
Just
out of the blue.
Wish him a happy birthday out of the blue, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing is anyway, that thing I was going to go up and talk to Luke, and he had the lawnmower carb going on, so he was a popular guy. Yeah, everybody wanted to see this car. And I was just going to go up and ask him, where they were headed, which way they were headed. And all of a sudden, here come all these people, got right in his face, and you can see it. He kind of backed up, and he's like trying to answer questions. And hell, Derek didn't even barely get in the gate. And I just happened to be standing there at the DEI tent talking to Austin, and here he comes rolling in. And Jessica, I had met a couple different times with Derek. And I said, hey, how's it going? That's all I said. I said, so you got the transmission? Goes, because 2 days before that, the transmission dropped out of that freaking Cat Farm crew cab.
Yeah.
And I had messaged them and about something. It had nothing to do with Power Tour. And they mentioned, well, I got this, this, and this. So I said, hey, did you get it going? And she looked at me for a minute. She goes, and she grabs my arm. She goes, yeah, the transmission's in. Because I think that they get so much, like I freaked her out. And then I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay.
Because they literally just got in the door and people started swarming them. And I'm just standing there, talking to Austin and the DEI guys. And, but then there was other big YouTubers that swarmed him.
Yeah, well, you know what? Austin's a great guy too. That's another great guy. I didn't meet him until No Name National. I had no idea who he was until No Name National. But
yeah, he's a good dude.
Nice guy. Yeah,
we bullshit back and forth. We get along. At No Name Nationals, I went up to his hotel room to give him some footage, and all that kind of stuff. We sat there and bullshitted for half hour. We are on the spectrum of personalities in the wild, we'll say. We're out here.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the cars and YouTube and stuff like that, we bounce shit off each other like crazy. Yeah. But outside of that, he might surprise you, which is fine. To each their own. But it's been interesting. Like my first one that I started talking to was Dalton. If it wasn't for Dalton, I wouldn't have met any of you guys, because he's the one that said, hey, you need to do this, this will help you out, because, Buzz was part of it. And me and Buzz have got a great relationship now. Buzz does all my thumbnails.
Oh, does he?
He offered to do them. And I said, sure, if you want to, if you got to do this, I'd love to, because he gets to see them first, He loves this Mustang one. He thought that was the funniest goddamn video, because me cussing and carrying on. And
well, it was pretty funny. And
speaking
of, why? Because you drop parts into your fan. That's why.
Yeah. I hope you got the very beginning. Everybody should take care of their toddlers, their teenagers. So I'm sitting here with my 27-year-old son.
Yeah, I got it. I watched the whole thing right through.
Yeah.
And there was a fair bit of cursing on both sides.
Oh yeah, he's worse than me.
Yeah. It was good. It was fun to watch though. It was no, that was totally you. You dropped it into his hand and his hand wasn't there.
Oh, it was there, but he was like doing that monkey hand thing. And it just kind of got, and I went like that, and it just flew right into the fan.
Yeah. I think it came off the alternators where if you look at it, it
looks like it hit the
alternator and then went flying.
Be lucky if some bitch didn't come back and hit me right in the eyeball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was a fun episode. It really was, what you and him working on the car, and you could tell how frustrated you were with the
goddamn car
pump and stuff. But
I wish he'd learn how to do it himself. I got shit to do around here.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising that you guys found that. I thought it was gone.
Now this here, Zeppelin is a Guns N' Roses freak.
Mm.
He loves 80s music, like loves it. And of course, his name is Zeppelin, which is actually from Korn. Jonathan Davis's son is named Zeppelin. And Amber always liked that. She's a big corn nut.
Yeah.
No pun intended, corn nut. And she, liked that name. And I said, well, no matter what, it's got to have my dad's name in it somewhere, which is John.
Yeah.
And Skylar is named after me. His middle name is after me, Jay, which is a nickname, by the way. It's not my real name. And then my dad's name was John, so it's Zeppelin John.
Yeah.
ZJ. We just call him Zeppy. But yeah, that's his favorite jacket. And I've been playing music. Oh God, I'm 48. I played my first gig in a club, we'll say a bar, when I was 13.
Wow.
And I have not missed 1 year.
That's crazy.
And I'm getting to where I can't, the old arms and stuff. And even playing country, I get freaking sore. My wrist. You know what it is, though? I didn't have this problem until I started doing this YouTube crap where everything's hurry up and get it done and film. I'm putting bolts in like this instead of, my wrist starts getting hurting. And,
well,
I
Jay,
piss the old lady off because I'm working on cars too much. So, you got to overwork the wrist with that, too.
yeah.
So,
Well, I gave myself a hernia apparently when I hurt myself back a while. Yeah. I got the results back from the doctor finally, so I got to go for an operation.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I have never had anything like that. I've had broken fingers, broken toes, broken wrists, and broken ribs with a punctured lungs that killed me, basically.
Wow.
And but no, when it comes to that music stuff, I can't believe I actually told Amber the other day. I said, I got home. I had 1 or 2 beers. It was Memorial Weekend. The rest of the time I had water and we played outside. And it was fun. But I got home and I was like, the whole time I was there, I was thinking, I got so much shit to do on that Javelin. I got to get home, get this thing, because I couldn't get my head right. And that's the same way with this weekend.
Yep.
This is my last weekend to work on this thing. And I have to be there at I had to be at that gig at 5 o'clock. Well, then I'm going to have to get up at the ass crack of dawn to get to work on this car on Saturday without a break all the way up till I go in, quick shower, and run out and play. So that's part of the reason I'm getting worn out while I'm playing.
Yeah.
See,
are
you into Mopars? Because that's how I get when I work on Mopars.
Yeah.
That's how I get when I work on the transmission in the Javelin.
There we go. Here comes the Mopar trash talk. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well,
or AMC. I'm close to having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I swear.
It's funny that, they're bringing up the hands cramping up and stuff, but I know I should have more strength than I do. Because I used to have a whole lot of strength in the arms and the hands and everything like that, but I've noticed that it's diminished. It's not there's still a lot there, but I'm not near as strong as I used to be.
I don't know how my dad did it. My dad had cancer and was 80 years old and could probably whoop my ass. Yeah. At this point, at me at 48. I'm half his age, and he probably could have whooped my ass. I'm so weak anymore. It's mainly because I'm tired all the time.
I think that's got a lot to do with it, because it's the same with me. I'm always tired. You're always doing something.
Yo, Jeff. My buddy from the north.
Mm-hmm. Not as far north as this guy, though.
Yep. He ain't far that north. Listen to this. I don't know why he goes off calling me a boomer.
Yeah, we're after boomers, bud.
I'm the last bit of Gen X, which is probably the reason I'll tell people to F off.
Yep.
Worse than, I could give a damn what anybody says. Don't care. Don't even get me on the whole political side of it, because I'll be like, I don't care. Yeah. Do they have 5-way bypasses? How can you have holy crap. Yeah, see, this is right here.
Gen X. Oh, I'm very proud to be a Gen X, honestly.
You know what? Everybody makes a lot. Like, I see those things on TikTok and all that. It's like, were hoses? Why did everybody drink from a hose? Were sinks not an option? And we're like, we weren't allowed out in the house.
Yeah, no, exactly. We were outside most of the time. We were on our bikes or skateboards in the
If
sprinkler,
you
slipping slides, like you name it. We were outside, man.
if you were coming in for dinner, doing homework, or sleeping, you were not allowed in the house.
Pretty much. And we had actual lawn darts. I mean, these are
Yeah,
heavy with metal points, and they
lawn
stuck in the
dart.
ground or in your foot. So,
We used to have a blast with those.
oh yeah.
Whatever, dude. He pretty much got to do whatever he wanted. See, I had
Well,
three wheelers when I was a kid. Three wheelers, go karts.
mm-hmm.
I bought them all.
Yep.
I paid for them all. My dad would make me. I friggin' detasseled, had two jobs, $1 an hour putting parts away at a parts store.
Wow, that's I think I started at $4 an hour or something, my first job.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I turned
It was
14 and I went and got a work permit in the United States, that's back when, you made kids work.
yeah.
I was 14. I think the minimum wage was $3.85.
Yeah, that's about where I was up here too. It's I started working when I was 14. It was just around $4 an hour,
Yeah.
something like that. When I was making $8 an hour, I was like, "Oh wow, I'm in the money."
Yeah. See, I used to take my go-kart where I lived in my hometown. These people hated my guts because I would literally, I had a straight pipe on an old Briggs 3-horse,
Yep.
and I took out the governor,
Yep.
and that thing would absolutely fly. It had a wooden seat with a freaking, I don't even know, some kind of car cover, no cushion.
Nope.
And the brakes
No
weren't the cool
shock. No
brakes you got
suspension.
now.
No
No,
suspension.
it had a metal steering wheel that was a half moon.
Yep.
And it was all steel. You had the throttle, which was a one big ass metal pedal over here that had a cable. And then the brake wasn't the kind you got now where it actually breaks the centrifugal clutch. No, this is the little flappers that went on the back tire. And I would hit them so hard because people pull out or somebody yell at me or they're going to throw something at me. I'd hit them so hard they flip underneath the wheels.
Oh no. Well, the one I had the centrifugal clutch on it. It was a homemade. My dad made it for me, and we had old Anson bombers, the training bombers for World War II, and I really liked the yoke on those, the steering wheel, and so he built the cart around that and I had that as a steering wheel, and so the centrifugal clutch eventually quit working on this thing, but I figured out that if I smashed the clutch all the way around, it was always engaged. So I just prop up the back of the go-kart on a wooden block, get it started, give it some gas, and then rock it, pop it off the wood, and off it go.
Yeah. I got good at starting mine while I was sitting on it because I'd get stopped all the time. Yeah, that goddamn loud ass thing, you're gonna get somebody hurt. All the neighbors,
Yeah.
I got good where I could reach over my back, grab that sucker, and go home.
Yeah.
The only thing it had on to kill it was a little flap on it ground out the
spark plug. Yep.
You shut it off.
Well, mine had the fork style on the spark plug. And we hooked up like a string so I could just yank it and pull the wire off the spark plug. That's how you shut it off.
Mine was actually a Chevy van at one time.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah, because what happened was the parts store that I grew up in that my dad worked at 50 years, it was Dustin Sons Auto Supplies. And we used to have a lot of parades around here, like Cancer Day. We had a Cancer Day. It was a lot of Christian stuff. Cancer Day, Memorial Day, you name it, parade. And Dustin Sons had 2 go-karts. One was a Bill Elliott Thunderbird.
Oh.
And Dustin Sons still has that. The Dust family still has that one. Then they had the van, which is the one that I had that I used to drive in parades when I was like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And it was done up like a Dustin Sons van, like their parts vans.
Yeah.
And somebody took it on a parade, and I wasn't driving it, and ran it into the back of a pickup or something and busted the damn van cop, off. And
Yeah.
I bought it off in the Dust family for like $50. Instantly, like I said, took the governor off of it. I was 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
I was already, working on that. I hate small engines too. And I just started, hot rodding it as much as I could. Started putting, I'd go to my mom and dad's liquor cabinet.
Oh, thin the mix.
I'd put, somehow I got the bright idea that some kind of liquor, like a whiskey or something like that, thin that mix up a little bit and it burned faster. Holy cow, does that work?
Yeah.
But it will burn the engine up quick. It's like giving it, it's like, if I could have found moonshine back then, I probably would have ran the damn thing. But those small engines back then, you can't do it with the ones nowadays. They'll explode.
No.
But them old cast iron Briggs, or what's the other ones? Tecumseh. There was another one too, but they would take it. Hell, you could run them things off oil.
Yep.
And if they're like a diesel, if they'd eat their own oil.
I got a Tecumseh on my rototiller out here.
Really?
Yep.
I used to have one lane. I wasn't here. It was at my other place. But yeah, I had all that stuff. And then that go-kart, we ended up bringing it home, and we had a local guy that had a welder. He put, bumper guards on it so you wouldn't run in. And to this day, I ran into the, you had your picnic table, and then you had the movable benches that went, whatever. Damn thing got away from me, and I went underneath that, and I smacked my knee right on it. I hit the top and bottom, so I got a great big like bone growth, like a calcium growth on my knee still, and it hurts like hell. And then I got a gash, like an indention on my shin bone, just a little bit further down. It's still there today, a mark and all. It's like black.
Yeah.
But I had that, and we ended up putting a bumper guard on it. I used to ride that thing damn near to where I live right now and turn around and go back.
I had a little Yamaha GT80G motorcycle that I rode all over the place. And same as you, I was always trying to make it faster or get a little more speed out of it or tune it up. And by the time that bike was done, man, those handlebars had been in the ground so many times they weren't straight anymore.
Yeah.
It barely ran, but I had a good time on that motorcycle. I jumped that thing a lot.
See, I had little motorcycles, but I didn't have them long because they were usually junk when I found them. And but my thing was 3-wheelers. Yeah. I had a 75 or 76 Honda 90 with the flotation tires and bouncing big ass.
Oh, yeah. They'd float. They actually float in the rivers.
Yeah, you float, but boy, you went across the field. That son of a bitch, beat you to death. I had my cousin who was a farmer. He wanted to drive it, and I said, well, I got to be on the back with you. Dad said I had to be on the back with him because he'd never drove one before. Oh, great. So we take off on this thing. We get down this country road behind where I grew up. He loses control, thought he was going to hit the brake, and he whiskey throttled it, and we went in through a damn drainage ditch, like side of the field. And it flipped over and it caught my ear and ripped my ear. My ear was out to here. It was hanging off, basically.
Oh, jeez.
I left his ass there. And that's the thing about them old 3-wheelers. It was up south, gases everywhere.
Yeah, you just dumped it back over.
Fire it back off. And I left his ass there because I could feel the blood is getting warm.
Yeah.
Went back home. And it wasn't like we was a mile away. We was literally half a mile. So we didn't have to walk that fast or walk that far. But I got back and my mom's like, what happened? What happened? There's blood all down. I had a white shirt on. I was like, Tommy, freaking whiskey throw, whatever I said, and she got mad and looked at his mom like, I told you, looked at my dad, I told you not to let him drive it, and Dad's like,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I gotta get stitches in my ear because it was literally wide open. My ear was pulled forward. She goes, oh, bullshit. And she pushes it back and takes a pair of her nylons, and wraps it around my head and holds the freaking ear. She says, don't take that off. So it worked. I mean, my ears are straight. But nowadays, oh my God, they would have had DCFS out at the house. They would have had all kinds of stuff.
Oh God, yes.
Let him pull the TV on his head a couple times. He'll learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And got through that. And Dad was like, well, you screwed up good this time, boy. Well, then I ended up having a 110, 80, an 83 110. And it was only a year old. So I would have been 8, 9. I'd have been 9. And I rode it for a long, never wrecked it. That's where I learned to, ride on.
Yeah.
And I started doing little things at this little town east of us on this little dirt track. Well, then when I was 10, the Dust family, again, one of the boys had a 200X. And that was, other than the 250R Honda, because we didn't know a lot about Yamahas, like the Tri-Zs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that thing was awesome. Plus, it was still a 4-stroke.
Yeah.
Kickstart, which when you're 10 years old and weigh 70 pounds,
that took some effort.
That takes some effort. 2 foot, jump off the seat,
Yeah.
And they had it for sale and $500. This thing looked brand new. Barely had any miles on it. Chrome. It had a chrome light cover.
Yep.
I mean, this thing was top notch, well taken care of. And I wanted it. Said, Dad, they're going to sell this thing. I want this because I can take it over to Casey and I can race it. Even back then, they didn't care about your age, And he goes, oh, you want that 200X? How much do you want for it? I said, $500. You got $500? I said, no. Well, were you planning on getting $500? And I just, sounding like my son now, well, why don't you just buy it for me? Huh. No, let me think about it. He goes, you have to understand how my dad was. You listen to my sarcastic anger on camera. That was my dad.
Yeah.
Everything he said was sarcastic anger, like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And one Saturday, this was like 2 weeks later, might have been a month later. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But he goes, hey, jump in the car. It's 72 Cutlass. Or no, at this time he had the Courier. He had a 82 Ford Courier.
Yeah.
Jump in the truck, whatever. And we get to Dustin Sons. I was like, oh my God, he's going to buy me this 3-wheeler. We brought the truck. We're going to go down in the warehouse and get it and all this stuff. And I hop out and I'm all excited. And the door shuts. And he goes, all right. So Nick's in there in the office. Go tell him you want a job. You want to buy that 3-wheeler. Backs out and leaves me there.
Yeah.
I'm 5 miles from home. Might as well be 100.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? So I go in there and Nick says, your dad tells me you want a job. I said, I guess. He goes, what do you mean you guess? I said, well, I want Kevin's 3-wheeler. And Dad said I have to get a job to get it. And he goes, you willing to work? I said, yeah. And he goes, you're only 10. I said, yeah. He goes, $1 an hour. I can't legally have you here working till you're 14.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay. So it's $1 an hour. I'd go to work with my dad. I'd come home with my dad. If my dad wasn't working that day, my mom worked across the street at this kind of an antique / art store. And she would bring me in and I'd go to work, push brooms, put away stock. I was mixing paint, PPG paint when I was 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
we would get those. We'd get truckloads of. They were the only place in town that had like oxygen tanks and acetylene and all that stuff. I would unload those off a truck when I was 10 years old. And there's no dock. You slide them down on this big box truck, and I'm 10 years old, so they're up here. And I learned how to get them, pull them down, and set them on the ground, and then roll them in the building. We'd get like 20 to 50 at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how we did it. I learned to drive an old big-ass Yale forklift when I was 10, 11 years old. No power steering. You know, I just had up and down.
Yeah.
That's it. I had a little bit of tilt, not much, but I was there for maybe 2 to 3 months. And I came home one day from school, and the garage door was open, and that three-wheeler was sitting in the garage.
Oh, right on.
And I said, I was just ecstatic. I was like, oh, my God. And Dad says, well, at that time I'd made, $200, $300 that I had in my account, because we got a bank account after that with me and my mom's name or whatever. And he goes, I paid him for it. And now you're going to keep that $300 you got, but you're going to give me $50 every month out of that until it's paid off. And that's how I paid it. He didn't buy that. I paid for that three-wheeler.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my mom bought me a drum set. And oh my God, my dad freaking flipped out. 10 years old, put a drum set in his basement next to his bar and his nice little man cave.
Yeah.
But and I learned how to work on it myself. That three-wheeler, I'd take it over to Casey and race it. I had that thing 3 years, and then I had my wreck, and it basically did kill me.
Yeah.
But I got mad as hell, and I was all beat up. My chin was hanging off. It had all these stitches. It looked like the Joker. I got scars right here. And I wrecked it, and I got pissed off, and I was home by myself because I couldn't go to school. And I went out there and I kickstarted that sumbitch and went to where I wrecked in this hill, and I went up and down that fucker like 5 times. I said, you son of face is just oozing crap. I had like a little drainage tank, and I was mad as hell. I was, but yeah, I mean, I have literally been working since I was 10 years old. Probably before that, because I'd mowed my grandma's lawn before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then 13, I started playing in bands also. After I got back all my rec stuff, it was basically, well, I guess it might have been 14. It was between 13 and 14 because it was my freshman year of high school. I missed part of my freshman year of high school. But yeah, I started making money playing music on accident. Yeah. Listen to this guy. When he was 14, I made him. You can't do this no more. That's child cruelty. I made him get a job at a local place, Niemerg Steakhouse, washing dishes.
Yep.
And I, that's like Aiden. Aiden just got home from work. He's 17. He works at Walmart. He's a stalker at Walmart. And he said the other day, I said, what's going on, bud? He's like, I thought maybe something was wrong, And he said words that you don't want to say to me. He said it like, I can't believe this. I said, what's that? He goes, they're actually going to make me work 7 hours a day.
Sorry.
I said, that's so bad. You realize that I'm putting in 12 hours a day? I was working 10 hours a day when I was Zeppelin's age.
Yeah.
I said, don't even start with me. I said, it's summertime. Make your money. Save it. You don't have any bills. I take care of everything. And, I was like, no. And, of course, Mama Bear was like, I can't believe they're – you shut up, too. It was that bad. I was like, no.
Well, I remember
work, and he's making more than Amber.
Yeah.
He's making like 15, 16 bucks an hour.
Yeah, crazy.
Then he got I can't believe it. We're getting ready to close on it's getting late on a Friday night. And then all the kids come in and start riding skateboards around. I was like, we used to have cruise routes and stuff that was pretty cool, but they shut all that down because that's where all the drugs were. So now they all just hang out at the Walmart and in the parking lot with their half-ass POS Chevys with the straight pipes.
Yeah, and that's where all the drugs are.
Actually, you know what? The kids around here, we don't so much, it's very rare to have anyone under the age of, say, 20, 23. Like my son's there, his generation, yeah, they're a problem. He's not, believe it or not, he's not a problem. But there's people my age that I've known. I'm like, I didn't know he was a meth head. But then you look at their Facebook, you're like, hey, wait a minute, I think I'm friends with that person. You get on there, and the first group of friends that are on there are all people that are in the police blotter every day. It's like, oh my God, that's why I stay home. I don't do nothing.
Yeah, the same here. I'll just stay home, work on the cars.
Yeah,
I'll let you out of my cave once in a while.
I just sniff brake clean for a living.
Yeah.
No, I've had a lot. Hell, I had 3 jobs in high school. I worked at my dad's best friend's auto shop. I worked at a transmission shop, and I worked at the same restaurant that Skylar did. I washed dishes.
Yep.
And I played baseball, and I played music. I mean, I did everything I could to make money because I really liked cars.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of in the same boat. When I was going to school, I was still working. I started out kind of like working at the Fountain Tire, the Goodyear at the time and whatnot, doing tires and oil changes. Well, I didn't even start out there. I started out at Dairy Queen, I think it was, or something like that when I was 14. And then
Dalton worked.
What's that?
Dalton worked at Dairy Queen.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, I think the first job was McDonald's, but I hated that, and I only lasted 2 weeks. So I said, I'm not doing that shit. And then I went to Dairy Queen, and that was okay. I got treated decent there. And then after a while, I started working at a tire shop and stuff like that, busting tires, doing oils changes. And then in the summer, I did Hell portable seismic. So we go out and go drilling in the mountains. I was in good shape after those summers, let me tell you. You're going up and down those mountains all day, carrying gravel and hauling heavy equipment and everything else. And yeah, and you were moving too.
Yeah.
So and those were 14, 16-hour days. You had no time. You worked, you flew back to camp, you got cleaned up, you ate, you went to bed, you got up, you did it over again. And that was like almost 2 months worth, right? Doing just that.
Yeah.
And then I got into the aircraft maintenance and stuff, and then some of those days were 26-hour days, just trying to get the planes delivered and stuff like that. And that was dumb. Honestly, that was dumb. I mean, you're putting airplanes together and you're just exhausted, tired. You're not thinking straight.
Damn, good for you, shop cat.
Oh wow, nice.
I had I don't know. I had a ton of cars, but my dad wouldn't let me keep them around. I had cars he didn't know I had. And I kept them at a buddy's house. I had a couple Jeeps. I had all kinds of stuff. And, I'd blow up one Mustang and I'd find another engine and go out and race it and blow it up because I'd run them to, $9,000.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just always wanted cars. And then whenever I had Skylar, I brought him home. I think I've said this before. I brought him home from the hospital in a 79 Trans Am.
Yeah.
400 4-speed.
Yeah, nice car.
And
yep.
He come home in it. And then that was the last one I had for 2 years. And then the next year I bought my old Mustang back with a parts car that I knew the parts car because it belonged to a friend of mine's dad because he bought it because he loved my car so much. I ended up buying both of them. I built the motor, and then my mom passed away like while I was building this engine.
Oh, that's
in the garage back there. And I kind of stopped, and then I put it back together, and then that's why he loves that Fox body so much because, you know, I got it running, and we used to go driving around the country. That's how I used to put him to sleep, in that Mustang or on the Harley. Yep. And that was the last one I had up until, we're talking 15 years later. I just completely, I only worked and got stuff that would get me through. You know, I had a Bronco and just different things that I could drive to get me through life. I didn't really have any muscle cars or things like this. And then I had out of nowhere, me and Amber were talking after we got together, and she's like, we got to talking about the cars that I had, and he goes, yeah, she says, my dad had this and this. And I said, I'd love to get back into doing it. And then I just happened to put a Facebook post out on my Facebook, my old one. And I said, you know, anybody's got an old muscle car or something like that he's got laying around, ain't doing nothing with, I'd like to have one. A buddy of mine I ride Harleys with, he goes, Jay, I got one. I said, well, what do you want for it? And he told me what it was, a 74 Formula freaking Firebird.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Been sitting in the garage. He got divorced, and his wife been bitching about him. Ex-wife's been bitching about him getting it out. I said, well, what do you want for it? He says, I don't know, $1,200.
Oh, wow.
Let's go look at it. So me and Amber borrowed my buddy's trailer, went up to Kansas, Illinois, got in here and started pulling bales off this car. And it was it had been painted like a maroon red, but it was originally blue. Yep. And it had the snorkel hood, everything.
So it was like the Martinique blue is that the color it originally was then?
Yeah, it was that dark navy.
Yeah, that Martinique blue. Yeah.
With light blue interior.
Yep.
But he had blown up the 350 Pontiac, or somebody did. But when he got the car, his mom didn't like the color, so his mom had the car painted. And then he drove it around forever, but he blew up the 400 Pontiac, which is the one that I took the heads off of for the ambulance.
The ambulance, yeah.
Yeah, the inside of that engine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had a 350 in it out of a 69 Chevelle or 70 Chevelle. And it had some serious blow by. That thing ain't ran in years. I got it running. I'd drive it around. Never did put it on the road. Just kind of pissed around with it. But the frame, right below the rear part was going on it.
Yep.
And I seen a guy who put 69 Chevy C10. I bought the car for $1,200, got it running, had all the parts for it. It was pretty ratty. A little bit further gone than I like to deal with because I just like putting them back on the road. Yep. Anyway, this guy from down in southern, probably close to Sykeston, a little north of there, he had a 69 Chevy C10 350 long blade with the heavy half wheels, the 6-lug wheels.
Yep.
And it ran and stuff and needed some problems. Like, that'd be a little bit easier and cheaper to deal with. So I traded him even up. And I ended up getting a title for it because it had a junk title. It was a meth seize. Somebody in southern Illinois, somebody ran from the cops and ended up in Missouri.
Yeah.
And I got it home and I drove it, man. I used it around here. And then after that, I got the Malibu, which Amber fell in love with. I built the 350 for it. And then I got a video of me, its first run after I broke the cam in. I've got a video of that. I think I did put it up on here. I can't remember. And then I bought the Cutlass, and it just kind of caught back up. And now I'm 20 cars deep. Yep. And remember, that's all before YouTube. I'd only started that.
Yeah.
I was already planning all this crap. Like that whole build of that Cutlass would have been great if I would have thought about it, but I didn't know about all this shit. I didn't watch YouTube. I didn't even watch it I still had my dad back then. I just asked him, what do you think about this? I just bounced stuff off of him. And his answer to everything was, that's too much goddamn money. You're going to put something in that gets no goddamn gas mileage at all, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I kind of like the sarcastic interaction, I guess.
Yep.
And then Zeppy and a buddy of mine said, you should do this YouTube thing. You'd be pretty good at it. Don't you ever watch Vice Grip Garage? I'm like, no, what the hell is Vice Grip Garage? Yet I did watch Thunderhead.
Yep.
289 a lot because of his carb knowledge. And, and then I started this YouTube thing. Well, holy shit, do I got cars now. See you, two babe chickens. Maybe see you in a couple weeks. Week and a half. But, yeah, I think I better get to bed too. I got to.
Well, you know what? I'm at the same point, Jay, so that sounds like a good plan.
Yep, I'm going to get on out of here. Y'all, appreciate you hanging out. Sorry I didn't announce I was doing this earlier. I was kind of busy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to recap, I'll try to do a live next weekend. Should still be able to do a live. But after that, and a video that's coming out this week, I'll be gone. There's going to be a 2-week gap because I'm not going to spend my whole life freaking editing out there. I'm just not.
Yep.
So anyway, thanks y'all for hanging out. I'm going to go do 5 shots of Jaeger and pass out.